Welcome back, everyone. We are on our second and final track of today. We have Michael with TransPerfect DataForce, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to him. And once we are completed, this track will be done for today, and we'll be sharing the videos within 24 to 48 hours for replay. Go ahead, Michael.
Thank you, Krista. So just really excited to have the opportunity to go ahead and present to Tradewind and also share kind of our technology and our focus with anybody working within the DoD space. Essentially, just wanting to share not only our capabilities, but also kind of put it out there for potential teaming opportunities and just any open solicitations or potential, RFP solicitation opportunities. Very, very quickly, DataForce is a new division of a company called TransPerfect. TransPerfect has been in business for about 30 years. We are a $1 billion private company, and we kind of made our bread and butter off of language translation and localization services. DataForce is the newest division at the company. It is the fastest growing division at the company. It's been around for about 3 or 4 years now. And my background is in DoD-oriented solutions pertaining to machine learning and artificial intelligence. And I was brought on board to kind of help kind of expand the reach of this product and service within the Department of Defense. Very quickly, I'm going to kind of just give a very fast, high-level overview of the solution, how it works, kind of some of the use cases and problems that it solves. And then if time permitting, I can kind of hop into our testing sandbox environment and just show you a demonstration of the software, just so you know that obviously it does exist. It's not vaporware, and just see some of the configurability and some of the features within the platform itself. So a couple of things about DataForce is that we are offering a combination of a software and a service. So the software component does have some machine learning oriented technology worked into it. The software itself is a data annotation labeling software platform. We can also handle basically data collection and unstructured to structured data conversion for all of your data types. So text, audio, video, and image, we can do all those things. And we also do have a service that we offer along with our software, which is comprised of basically a workforce labor component where we can actually provide these services for you at scale. And we have over 1 million annotators globally that we can leverage at any point in time. So we can go ahead and use them to annotate any unstructured data, any images, any text data that you need to have annotated or labeled. We can do all that, very large amounts of that data extremely fast for kind of the use cases where maybe there's a situation where it's like, hey, look, we just need the data to get machine learning ready. We just need to go ahead and just have you take care of it. We can do that, or we also can provide, potentially a license depending on how many users that you need to go ahead and just do the actual data labeling and annotation yourself if you'd like. A couple of things in terms of the value of DataForce, and this is just kind of, I would say, a foundational machine learning concepts. So essentially is that for a machine learning algorithm to actually perform well, it's going to be directly correlated to the quality and of the data that's being ingested by that algorithm, right? So there's been studies that have shown this and have proven this, but when you are going ahead and pumping unstructured data, you are basically taking unstructured data and converting it to structured data and then using that to go ahead and train an algorithm. How well that data is structured, how well that data is annotated and labeled will affect the output and essentially the predictive outcome of that algorithm. One thing that we can do here because of our scalable workforce is we can shorten the time to artificial intelligence algorithm deployment by up to 30%, which is very nice because people that work within kind of real world machine learning operational environments where you are deploying models into productive environments, you're going to learn, if you haven't learned this already, that it's very much an iterative approach, deploying and then going ahead and iterating and tweaking and redefining and kind of just honing it in and dialing it in is really how real world machine learning and artificial intelligence algorithms are deployed. It's how it's done. And if we can shorten the time that actually occurs, we'll give you the ability to deploy more models faster iterate on those models more quickly and essentially get more output and more measurable results that are going to help you with your mission, because of the fact that you can go ahead and get those into kind of production much more quickly, as I mentioned before. This is a summary of some of our services, but at least for the purposes of just time, I'm going to focus on essentially 4 primary areas. That's going to be the audio collection and annotation, the image collection and annotation, video collection and annotation, as well as the text collection and annotation services. We do offer other services as well, and do have some proprietary technology in the sense that we have a mobile application that can be put on any mobile device, iPhone, Android device, and you can go ahead and use it for data collection and annotation, whether it be audio, video, image, etc., and it ties into our software platform. This is an example of essentially our automated speech recognition. So for audio annotation oriented tasks, we do have machine learning technology that's built into our actual annotation engine. And one of those technologies is what we refer to as ASR, which is automatic speech recognition. Essentially just a form of natural language processing. We essentially can have an audio file play, and then this will automatically populate the transcription of that audio file. This could be done just as a service, or what we actually can do is provide a human in the loop to go ahead and correct any errors or just any issues that may happen with that automatic transcription, and make sure that it is extremely accurate before that annotated audio file is go ahead and processed, and then the next audio file is pumped into the engine to be annotated as well. This is really nice because if you're doing things that are mission critical or working on maybe sensitive data, classified audio files, things like that, you really want to make sure that obviously the transcription and the annotation are extremely accurate, because if it's not, you could have some detrimental and catastrophic effects down the road if you're working with extremely sensitive data streams and it's not being handled properly in terms of the way it's being annotated and ensuring the accuracy of that annotation. So that's for audio. And again, kind of the audio annotation component ties into the actual automatic speech recognition. So you have the automatic speech recognition, which goes ahead and will automatically transcribe the audio being spoken. And then there's the annotation, which we can go ahead and make any corrections. We can annotate the audio file from multiple speakers, multiple languages. We also can go ahead and segment individual audio files to parse out just those specific areas where there's actual speech and taking place. When there's audio files, you'll notice that there'll be areas of dead space in between actual spoken words. And what the platform allows us to do is just kind of cut out all that dead air, dead space, and just focus on the actual the audio that's being spoken, so that we're transcribing the necessary portion of that holistic audio file. For text, we do offer just a text collection and text labeling and metadata services. So if you have large amounts of text data that needs to be annotated or labeled, we can do that, and we can label it in any manner that is essentially required by the whether it be a division within the Department of Defense or just the actual customer, whatever the requirements are, we can go ahead and label and annotate that text accordingly. So if we had large streams of, let's say, email files, and we wanted to go ahead and label them according to whether they're classified, secret, top secret, or if there's specific subject matter within those emails that we want to go ahead and label so that it can be, obviously quickly queued up in the future and used to train models and things like that, we can do that. That's something that we specialize in. And also, if it's emails and written in multiple languages, things like that, those are some differentiators for us. Those are areas in which we are going to be just class leading because of the fact that the company itself was basically built its entire foundation on language translation and localization services. So when you're talking about text, audio, video, anything like that that's in multiple languages, Russian, Chinese, Arabic, we can do all those things, and we have a specialty in our ability to do them and translate them extremely accurately because of the fact that we were founded as a language translation company. And here's another screenshot of some text annotation where you can see here the labels. All this stuff is configurable. We can go ahead and define the labels you want within your text file and go ahead and label it accordingly. Any of this criteria would be provided by essentially the customer. So if they, like I mentioned before, if there's emails and they said, okay, we want you to label, where the email is coming from, of the country of origin, we want you to label, whether or not a specific person or individual or city is referenced. All those things can go ahead and be configured, and we can do all those things without a problem at all. And then lastly is kind of the image and video collection annotation portion of the engine, which these kind of do fall together in a sense. But really, if you were to have a video file or an image file, we can go ahead and label that file however you'd like. So this can be extremely valuable when you're talking about any type of image that needs to be used for any type of defense purposes. So if you're talking about geospatial images, any type of weapon system images, drone synchronization, drone identification images, we can label those at scale without a problem at all. We also can do not only just regular bounding boxes, squares, but we can do polygonal, and I'll show that kind of very quickly in an example once I get done here through the deck. And then one final part of our image labeling is we do have a face anonymization capability where we go ahead and we kind of wrap the image in a JSON file, which goes ahead and anonymizes it, because we understand that obviously privacy is a big thing, and we want to make sure that if you're looking at images of actual people's faces and stuff, that their identity is hidden and that we're not going ahead and violating anyone's personal privacy or security. Okay, so that's all I have on the actual deck itself. And what I'm going to do here very quickly is, time permitting, is hop into a quick demonstration of the platform itself. Looks like I do have a little bit of time, so that's perfect. Just one moment. Let me pull this up. Okay, and it does look like you can see my screen. I'm going to be looking at a secondary monitor, so I apologize if it looks like I'm not looking at you or speaking to you, but I promise I'm here with you. And I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of explain some of the back-end capabilities of the platform and show you how it all works here. So right now, I'm actually logged into our DataForce platform. And very quickly, just so you know, this is a testing environment. So I'm just going to pull up some kind of previously created demonstrations just to show you what we can do here. But essentially, if you had a data annotation or labeling project that you wanted to go ahead and start, this could be done for you as a service. Like I said, we can go ahead and create all this for you. We can have the workforce do all the labeling for you and just set up whatever type of configuration schema that is required. Or this can be essentially set up as and sold as a essentially a software application, a license for use by you or your team, however you see fit. We do have the ability to deploy in both AWS and Azure ecosystems. We can containerize the platform, so Kubernetes, Docker, not a problem at all. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and get into this. So if we log in here, we'll see that there's a create project button in the top right, and we can name this project anything. I'll just go ahead and just put test project here and the project type. We can select which project type we'd like to do. For the purposes of this demo, I'm just going to do very quickly text. And then managers would essentially be the email address of whoever you want to go ahead and manage the project. Completion date, I'm just going to set an arbitrary completion date here. And then the settings. So all these things, the settings are configurable depending on what exactly it is we're trying to do. And we have a bunch of previously set up schemas in here, but then also workflows as well. We do have some proprietary workflows that we use depending on what the use case is, whether it be image, text, or audio annotation. We can go ahead and set those up, or we can work on something custom if it's required. And then also additional configurations. We can add as many that are required. And at the bottom here, where it says contributor qualifications, and this is one of the things that ties into what I mentioned earlier about kind of our bread and butter. We're a language translation company first. That's kind of how we started. So one of the things that we can do, if we're talking about, for example, audio transcription or audio annotation, we can make it an actual, essentially something that has to happen. We can make it mandatory that anyone that's transcribing a file, let's say it's Arabic, is a natural Arabic speaker. So we'll know that anything they transcribe will be extremely accurate. They'll understand the sentiment. They'll understand everything. And we can ensure that, all the Arabic audio files or pre-recorded Arabic files are being transcribed by somebody that speaks Arabic. If we were to take that example, go ahead and apply it to something, let's say imaging, and we wanted to look at secret images of geospatial images. Let's say they're secret or top secret image files of, let's say, weapons, enemy weapon systems, bunkers, things like that, satellite systems. We can make sure that those images are being annotated by somebody that has a background in geospatial intelligence, geospatial imagery, and we can, to increase the likelihood of accurate annotation, accurate labeling. So again, when you're training those models, the output, the predictability of those models is very, very accurate. Because ultimately what we're doing is we're creating technology that's going to protect the warfighter, and we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to keep them safe. So I'm not going to go ahead and create this project here, but you essentially could go ahead and set all this up however you want to create it. It's however you see fit. And then once you do that, it'll pop up in the project section here. Now, if I click on here for a demo, it's allowing me to drill down a little bit further. This is just an audio annotation project. And if I click open, this is going to go ahead and take me to the system that we saw some screenshots earlier in my slide in my deck. So you're not going to be able to hear the audio I'm going to play here, but just for the purpose of this example, just kind of take my word for it. It's just an audio file of somebody saying, "Hey Siri, what's the weather like today?" And what's nice is that I can go ahead and just label each section. Remember, I mentioned before I can cut out that space. So if I go here, this is the part where it says, "Hey Siri" is right here. All right. So what I can do is just go ahead. There's your "Hey Siri." And we're going to go here. Excuse me. And this is your okay, so you go ahead and just transcribe and annotate it that way, and then you just click complete, and then the next file would cycle through, and you just continue to go through until everything is transcribed and labeled correctly. We also can set up any instructions you want for the task. So right here, there's no information, but essentially, depending on the file, maybe there's multiple speakers. You want to have each speaker's, what they're saying, make sure they're labeled correctly. Maybe there's only instructions of, "Hey, we don't care what's said. We just need to know the name of this individual." Say in the file where it's actually stated, and that's it. That's fine. All the instructions, we can put them in however is needed to go ahead and make sure that this audio file is labeled correctly and you get the information that you need to train your models. Okay, so that's an example of the actual audio. And then here's another example where we're using image. So here's a quick demo of our image labeling capability. So we do have just regular rectangular boxes, bounding boxes, label this as a person, no problem. But then also what we can do here is we can use polygonal bounding boxes to give you a more accurate labeling of that person. And just depending on the use case and the need, this may be required, maybe it isn't required. And then you get a much more accurate segmented basically detection of that object for your model. Okay, and then this essentially you just click complete task, and then the next image would go ahead and cycle through. I am coming up on time here, so just really quickly, again, my name is Mike Malfatani. I'm Director of Business Development for TransPerfect DataForce. We are an image annotation labeling platform. We do unstructured to structured data conversion and data collection. We're interested in working with the Department of Defense, Navy, as well as any prime contractors. It could be and small businesses on potential teaming opportunities to offer our technology and services to the Department of Defense. Thank you.
Michael, thank you so much for your presentation today. So this will conclude our tracks or sessions for the Joint Information Warfare. We do have one more session happening today in a different track, but after that, we will be done with our overflow event for the Tradewin Member Showcase Navy Edition. So thank you so much again, Michael, and we'll see you at the other track, or have a good day. Thank you.